Morning, Reds. There are now exactly 3 days to go to the big one in Kiev.
Or if you're on our bus, no sleeps.
No sleeps. That's probably started already, to be fair, to look at some of them in the office today. But we're all excited. We're outside here. There's so much going on around the city. It's buzzing, as I'm sure all of you are. And we're going to be going through all of the things that is going to still to happen between now and 3 days' time, including something that happened last night, which is probably a good place to start. I don't know if you heard about it, but on Channel 4 here in England, there was a documentary all about our delightful Egyptian king, Mr. Mo Salah. And there was a cameo from someone you may have noticed, someone not a million miles away from you right now.
Yeah, I did bits. Well, I did bits, including vocals, which I was first of all hoping they wouldn't use, and secondly hoping that someone else would join in on.
Really?
Just me.
Did you really think they were going to use it? Come on now.
I mean, I don't know. I give them so much quality, though. You know what I mean? I was like, as usual, I was all killer, no filler. And I thought, they won't use me singing. But they did, and yeah, no one else. Didn't get Ian Dole singing, did they?
No. They all probably had the sense to say no, mate. But I mean, aside from that little wonderful cameo, which kind of stopped me in my tracks when I saw it, it was a great actual show, the whole thing, because it kind of took us back to his beginnings back in Egypt, and you were able to see the impact what he's doing now is having on those people, and it just brought me so much joy to see how many people are rooting for him. And when I think about the history of that country and where they've been in previous years and where they're going to now, they've got a World Cup to look forward to. It's fantastic that someone who we can claim as a bit of our own has been able to give them so much joy, isn't it, John?
Yeah, definitely. He's not just providing people in Liverpool joy, but all around the world. He's an inspiration to people of the same faith, who live in the same region, but also just people who love an underdog story, and that's what he is. He's from a village that's never produced a footballer of note. No one would have, if you said that village to any Liverpool fan a year ago, means absolutely nothing to anyone outside of there. But now, they must feel
it's going to be a pilgrimage there.
but you saw it, the kids there were also inspired. I want to be the next Mo Salah, and that's going to be a difficult thing to achieve, obviously. But they might just go a little bit further on their life because of that inspiration, and that's really nice. So yeah, they did a really good job on it, and I think it reminded me as well that look, Mo Salah, when he goes onto that pitch, he's been in pressure situations before that Egypt game where he's got a penalty to send them through to the World Cup. After that equalising with 3 minutes to go, and everyone must have been so concerned about kind of what that's it. It's another 4 years of hurt, and he steps up and delivers the pen, and so he's going to believe truly that
he's capable
of doing it, and so I'm not worried about Mo, is what I'm saying.
And nor should you be. And I think that's a good point to put in there, because I've seen some people who are saying, it's stuff like this is a distraction, it's his agent telling him to do all this kind of stuff. If you actually watch the film, I think there's maybe one interview section that might be new, but everything else is already taken from other places.
Yeah, and that was in an awards thing as well, where he's just kind of there to do that thing. So no, it was just a nice story. It's a reminder of how far he's come. It's a reminder of, for a lot of these footballers, we talk about the pampered lives they lead and everything that they've got going for them, but a lot of them come from tough upbringings. Having to his commute just to his youth team was absolutely unreal, and so fair play to Mo. Made me love him even more, if that's possible.
If that's even possible, yeah. And I think some of that, what you normally saw from Jurgen Klopp, for example, he's a manager who he's always about the team. He very rarely does he like to go out and give special praise to one guy. But you could see when he's talking in the show how he feels about him, how he feels so calm knowing that he's got him in his back pocket, so to speak. And I also think there's an element of the fact that if everyone's focusing on this guy, then there's a few other lads over there that they're taking their eye off who may be able to do some damage.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It just whetted your appetite generally for the game, didn't it? I was having a look on Twitter afterwards, after the documentary, and so many people were saying, I'm meant to sleep now. I was just going to go to bed. I thought, I'll watch this Mo Salah thing, and now I'm bouncing around my room with the cat singing. It's one of those, isn't it? It's just, we're all conceived anyway, but that was just a lovely little extra thing just to get everyone pumped.
Hey, I say give into it. Give into the consumption. Give into the obsession. Literally, whatever you're doing, if you're at work and all of a sudden you feel like starting humming it and just start bobbing your head around, do it. It's what we all want to do. These moments don't come along very often, so by all means, jump into it. Speaking of things that don't come along very often,
I never knew there was so much traffic on this space. By the way, like there's so many cars go past. It's like being on Egbert Road. Go on, man.
Sorry, I might hitch a ride later. It's quite a good segue though, actually, because I want to talk about travel to Kiev, and some of you may know, some of you don't know. The Anfield rap team are planning to drive to Kiev in a bus.
Yeah.
How many of you are going to be in there?
It's 12 of us on the bus. Yeah, there's a few mates on there as well. A few Gareth Slaughter on there joining us, but a good mob from the Anfield rap. We're going to be producing content all the way, little video diaries and stuff like that, and just kind of, having fun and getting there. We've got some good nights out on the way and on the way back, so don't feel too sorry for us.
I mean, feel sorry for you. Why would I feel sorry for you? One thing I will say though, it's quite a tight little space, that 12 lads, quite a lot of alcohol. I mean, are you worried about the smell at all? Have you laid down the number 2, number 1 rules for the toilets?
There's no toilet, mate.
There's no toilet?
No. Woo! We've got a big, one of those bottles that you use for the water cooler. We've got that for weeing. And then, every stop, Craig's going to empty it.
Oh, you've already designated Craig. Unlucky, mate. So yeah, this is quite, as you can see, this is going to be carnage. These are the kind of stories that these guys are going to be telling for the rest of their life. And I'm going to have to hear it, so I'm slightly unhappy about that. But no, genuinely, for all of us out there who want to get a little bit of taste of what it's like, who couldn't get there, do tune in to what these guys are going to be offering up. I've done my part. I've given them a bit of a playlist to listen to.
That was really sweet, Mo. That was really sweet.
I'm nice like that. I'm not bitter at all. Honestly, I'm not bitter. But no, as I said, there's lots of me going on. These guys are going to be enjoying themselves. Now, hopefully, everybody's going to be enjoying themselves on the way there and on the way back, because it means we'll have won. But just in case there isn't, there's one guy who's basically got to keep a track of everything that's going on here. Make sure no one's being left behind at a service station like outside of Dusseldorf. And that's the driver. And thankfully he's here today, and we're going to have a little chat with him now to see how if he's prepared and if he knows what he's letting himself in for. So I'm here with the luckiest man in all of Liverpool. It's the driver of the Anfield rap bus to Kiev. Simon, you alright, mate?
Yeah, I'm fine, thanks.
Are you looking forward to the journey?
Well, you don't know. It's a long way. I am looking forward to it, but let's just see what happens along the way.
Yeah. Have you done anything quite this far before?
Never.
Never before?
Never.
What's the longest you've been?
Wigan.
All the best then, yeah.
No. I've been, obviously, I've done all over the country and everything, but generally we don't really do overseas. But with this occasion, it was a chance too good to pass by, So drivers are looking forward to it. Hope the guys are looking forward to it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll have a great time.
Okay, so for those of you out there who don't know, tell us a little bit more about the bus itself. What kind of luxury are these guys going to be travelling in?
Well, we only do VIP minibuses. It's all leather tables, Wi-Fi, PowerPoints, fridge full of beer. So if we get stopped, we'll get done. But no, it's going to be comfortable. You can have a good time, and I'm sure it'll be a memorable occasion. We're obviously leaving late tonight, early tomorrow morning. Getting down to getting over to Calais for about 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Then driving through to Berlin. Have a night in Berlin, and then the next day on to Kiev. And if we lose, which I can't even contemplate, then it's going to be a nightmare of a journey. But if we win, we might get back by Thursday.
I want to talk a little bit more about Berlin, because you're going to be staying there for a night. And now, what kind of leeway are you going to be giving them in terms of when they need to be back? Because I don't know if you've seen these guys, but there's quite a few techno heads who are going to be on that bus who may well find themselves lost somewhere trying to break into Bergen or something.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I think we're not due to depart from Berlin till around midday, so they'll have plenty of time to recover from from the shandies they drink the night before. And we should be setting off, I say, by midday, and then hopefully get through the border in the Ukraine with no problem. Never experienced it before. Heard a few horror stories, but it'll all be part of the trip.
It will. I was going to ask about that actually, because have you specifically taken a route that's looking to kind of circumnavigate some of the more, let's say, not unwelcoming places, maybe?
I don't think there is a kind of route that you can take which is, circumnavigating I think any border that you go into the Ukraine is going to be the same. So I think we've sort of just gone directly from Berlin, the quickest way possible, the decent roads, so we don't come across any, unforeseen obstacles along the way.
You're not going to be bouncing off mountain goats.
No. So it's pretty much the main highway, toll roads. Hopefully there'll all be good roads to drive on, and shortest route to Kiev. We've also got some accommodation planned about 300 kilometres outside Kiev, because obviously the game I think is going to be a 9:45 kickoff.
Yes.
So if the lads don't get any sleep the night before, and it's a long way to go, and then all the day and everything, so they'd be absolutely knackered. So we've booked a little hotel halfway to Kiev, which we can dive in and have a few hours rest.
So you've kind of tried to cut off all potential.
Of course, trying to make sure the lads have a great trip, and hopefully we can come back with big ears.
Yes, hopefully we can. And if you feel like kicking one of these stuff off the bus and bringing the trophy back with you, then I'm sure that you have no complaints. Now, one thing I'm a little bit worried about. They're going to be in close quarters for a long time.
Don't worry, I've got an air freshener.
You've got an air freshener, good question. But you spent a bit of time with these over the course of a few days now. I mean, are you kind of looking forward to spending all this time with them? Kind of regretting it already?
No, I can't wait. I think we'll have a scream. You don't do things like this every day.
No.
And 1,700 miles there, 1,700 miles back to a country like Kiev. I know a lot of people have had negative thoughts about where it is and everything, and I do agree it's like a ridiculous place to hold a game, but Istanbul was the same, but that became like, a special occasion. Exactly. So hopefully Kiev will be the same.
Okay, now we're back with the papers, and as you can imagine, they're only talking about one thing really, the same thing that we're all wanting to talk about. So let's dive into that as well. Now, there's been some great interviews over the past couple of days with some of the luminaries of the past, and I want to start with the guy who I affectionately think of as our surrogate manager, Rafa Benitez. He's been talking about Istanbul and the difference between what he did and what we're trying to do, and he's come out and said the headline of the story is that this team is better than 2005, which I mean most people would agree, but I actually think it's probably a little bit closer when you think about some of the experienced players we had at the back. But in classic Rafa style, it's also a bit of a humble brag, because he talks about the value of the players we got now and the amounts of money being spent now.
So he's basically saying, I didn't have as good a team as Jurgen Klopp, and I managed to win it, so no excuses, Jurgen.
Yeah, pretty much what he's saying. But no, he does go on to say that it changed his life when he won in 2005, and he obviously hopes the same for Jurgen and the boys, and we can echo that, can't we?
Yeah, everyone connected to Liverpool who's won a European Cup says the same, and that's that. Really nice video. It's like about a 3-minute video that LFC TV have put out, which is really worth a look, which is basically older Liverpool players, giving advice to the stars now, and it's a really nicely put together vid, but it's also nice in a way with the saying, basically, you win a European Cup with Liverpool and they'll talk about you forever.
Yeah.
You're a hero forever, you know what I mean? Without it, you look at someone like Luis Garcia, without 2005, he might have been another player who came in and out, but now he's always going to be the lad who drank sangria and came from Barca's the biggest joy.
Probably the best example is Jimmy Traore. I mean,
European Cup winning Jimmy Traore.
Yeah. I mean, people still use him as a punchline, but he won the European Cup. Yeah. He doesn't give a shit. Seriously. So in this situation, I think if you're the players, you don't want to be cowed by the responsibility, because that can happen sometimes when you see so many people are so desperate for you to do well. Sometimes it can work in the other way. But I like the fact that we've got plenty of players who, like you say with Salah, they've been in situations that have been tough and come through, and they've got the confidence about them that they can go out and do it again. Now, speaking of confidence, something that's going to boil quite a bit of piss around here, our good mate Degsy, they've interviewed him again. I know a lot of you said that you didn't want that to happen, but he's actually had 2 interviews out recently. And this one here in the Mail, I really actually like it because it kind of answers a lot of those questions. I'll read a quote here. It says, I like when people talk bad about me. Lucky for him.
You must love Southampton.
When I have the confidence of the manager, I don't need anything to reassure me anymore. And that's the key. That's one thing that I've noticed all of the players have said. The Jordan Henderson interview recently that came out mentioned the same thing, is that all of the background noise of us lot saying, oh, don't do an interview, they don't affect them. And so all they care about is what the manager says. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say that there's no chance Lovren does something bad and then everyone's going, oh, why did you do an interview? It's not because of the interview why he'd have done it, guys. Please.
He's just a bit mad.
Just because he's a bit mad, but that's also why we love him. I mean, speaking of LFC TV, did you see the thing with him and Salah?
I've not seen it yet, no. I know. I've seen a little clip about him dinking Minglei's car, which is quite funny. But
like those two are the classic kind of little and large mismatched double act that we've been loving in comedies for years. And the fact that they're in there, that they're in our squad, they're making us smile, they're making the rest of the guys smile. And you may say that doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but I guarantee you those guys in the dressing room aren't thinking that.
No, team spirit's massive, and there's a general togetherness, isn't there, throughout the squad that's helped drive us to this final. But look, if Dejan Lovren's keeping Mo Salah happy, then give him a 10-year contract, you know what I mean?
Definitely.
But they are like a funny little couple, aren't they? Like, you wouldn't necessarily put them together, but, they're getting on. They've got the little coffee gang and all that, haven't they? And, yeah, so good luck to them, but... Look, I love it, and he's done the interview and he's talked about, and I'm sure he's spoken in the past about the criticism and stuff, and it's not helpful, a lot of it, but I think the manager has done really well with him, in terms of he's not been scared of dropping him or hooking him, but he's also been supportive as well, and he's talked about how he's got all the tools to be a top defender, and obviously there was the incident where he's taken off early in one game, but then he's straight back in the other, and I think he's a really good manager for him, and I think he owes him a lot, and he said that in the piece as well.
Definitely, and I think that's another key element to it, isn't it? So the things that we don't see, what goes on behind closed doors between the manager and his players, how he helps them recover when they make mistakes. I think about Trent, who's had a few down periods, and then he's come back in the next game and been absolutely flying. Our manager's been able to do that. He's been able to draw the best out of the guys, even when they're at their worst. And if that doesn't give you confidence for Saturday, then nothing will. And final bit of news from the papers is that the man himself, Jurgen Klopp, has also been talking. He's done a nice little interview with Robbie Fowler in the back of the mirror.
Yes.
Are you going to show me the picture?
Oh, sorry, yeah, that was I got it already.
It was a setup, darling.
Yeah, there he has. Here we go. This is, I'm hoping for a lack of wind. You'll have to, there we go. I've pulled it back. There's Fowler, there's Jurgen Klopp. All nice in the sunshine. I mean, it is gorgeous in Liverpool at the moment. But yeah, he's done a good job on it, Robbie. I saw David Marrick tweeting last night that he's going to do us all out of a job and stuff like that. But I think what's nice about when players do interviews is they can talk a little bit more tactically, can't they? They can bounce off in terms of ideas, and I think Jurgen Klopp seemed pretty relaxed about it and seemed willing to just talk about football rather than like all the other stuff around football that you often get.
And the tactical element of it is surprising. I was surprised that they were quite so explicit in some of the things that they mentioned in terms of things that have worked for him in the past and they may potentially be doing again. But you're right, his relaxed manner about it kind of calms me down, and I'm sure it does the same to everyone in that dressing room, because he knows what everyone is thinking, and yet he's able to still come up with a plan to hopefully counteract what Real Madrid are doing. Now, Real Madrid themselves have been quite vocal over the last few days. There's been quite a lot of stuff from the media basically downplaying our chances, basically throwing us under a bus, if I'm being honest, which from our perspective I'm alright with. Allow them to keep underestimating us, that'll do me fine. Now, the manager himself in his press conference, he's kind of said something a little bit against kind of something I said a few weeks back, where I questioned how much they really want it.
Yeah.
Because it's their third. Well, he's nixed that in the bud. I don't know whether or not he watches our show, and he got pissed off for me saying it. But yeah, he's basically come out and issued a battle cry saying that our lads are going to be hungrier than ever. So yeah, there's that to deal with, obviously. But I'm confident.
Look, I'm stood here in the sunshine, and live buildings behind us, and just, I think the city just feels like it's our time. And Real Madrid, they've had a couple now, they've had their go. It's Liverpool's time, and I think that's what we're all kind of feeling at the moment. So fingers crossed, get me on the bus.
Yeah, also, I don't know if you're aware of John's pledge to dress up like the European Cup for how long is it?
A week.
He's going to dress up. Now, is that going to start on the way home, or is that going to start when you get back?
No, well, the thing is, I'm going to Spain for a wedding straight after, so that gives me a week to basically.
You can't be doing it in Spain.
No, I'm not doing it in Spain.
Right,
so it gives me a week to basically find someone who's going to do it, and then for them to make it, and then when I get back, we're going to see Kalisa at Bongos Bingo. So that's going to be my debut. So I'm going to get the lads to bring it, and then I'm going to change into it, Bongos Bingo, and then I wear it for a week.
All the reasons you had for wanting Liverpool to win have just been put into insignificance by the knowledge that this man will be dressing as the European Cup for a week. Now, there are a few announcements I'd like to make around what's happening here. Obviously, on the night of the game, I'm not going to be there, but I will be at Motel doing my thing, DJ-wise, kind of hopefully starting the party rather than drowning sorrows in there. It's going to be a fantastic night. So many people who couldn't get over there are just coming to Liverpool.
Yeah.
I heard today about a couple who are driving up. They've hired a camper van and they're driving up from Norfolk, and they're just going to sit off in the camper van.
I've seen this. They said, "Oh, campsite secured," and I'm like, "Who's black? They've got a campsite in Liverpool."
It's basically going to be a back garden.
Someone's made 100 quid out the back garden, and absolutely fair play, I think.
Yeah, get in there.
As long as they can hook up to the mains, I reckon they'll be all right with it. Go in for a shower in the morning, laughing.
Yeah, I mean, if we win, when we win, everyone's going to be in such a good mood that none of that's going to matter. One issue there might well be trying to get a taxi out of city centre after the game might be a bit tricky. So, you might want to give yourself a little bit of extra time there.
I'm doing public service announcements.
That's what I do, mate. To be honest, the noise of that beeping in the background is kind of kicking in, is allowing my brain to go into office mode. Speaking of which, office mode. One more thing that's going to happen today is that we're going to be putting shows out, because that's what we do here at the Anfield Wrap. Now, because there's a little bit of, should we say, Kiev fever going on around here, everything's not quite as smooth as it normally is, so I can't tell you straight away what the shows are, but by now they will probably be skirting across the screen, as you can see them. So, we've come to the end of this wonderful show, John. I just want to ask you one more time, will you be singing on camera ever again?
I mean, that is for the public to decide. I'm a performer, I'm an entertainer, I'm ready, I'm willing, I'm able. That's just for,
That sounds like a yes, guys. I hate to say it.
At least I have my clothes on.
Oh my God, if I had to see your belly on Channel 4, I think that we would have had to kind of close the whole thing down, shut the TV down.
That's not very nice. Not very nice, is it? It's not very nice.
I can say that. Mate, I can say that. What can I say? We're excited, we're gibbering, he's going to Kiev, but we're going to get excited. We'll all be back tomorrow doing some of the same old things. Up the Reds.
Up the Reds.